Welcome back to Kickin' Crochet. Today we're doing the June interlocking crochet square, so this is what it looks like, and this one will kind of want to make your head explode, especially for the first few rows. So take your time, have some patience with yourself, and you can do it. It's kind of a different looking square. It is almost the same on the front and back, I mean reversed colors, but it's got these little almost like pinwheel motifs. And then it has them in blue on the back. So it is totally different from any of the other ones we've done so far, and I think it's super fun. So let's get started. For this project, you're going to need 2 colors of worsted weight yarn, some stitch markers, and of course a crochet hook. I am using Paintbox Yarns Simply Aran. I don't remember the name of the color, but I've got this mustard color and a gray are my 2 colors that I'll be using. So to start it off here, I'm going to take my mustard, I'm going to do a magic ring. So I'll lay it across my palm, wrap it around, grab that yarn. Now I'll do a chain 7 to start. Now this counts as a chain 4 and a double crochet. And I just lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And a double crochet in the ring. I'm actually going to tighten this up a little bit just to make it easier. So this, again, this is the same as every other one of the squares. If you're just joining in, I've made a square every month so far this year. So they are all free. There's video tutorials for all of them. And you can enjoy yourself. So I did my chain 7, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Now we'll chain 4 and double crochet. Chain 1, double crochet, chain 4, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 4, I need 1 more double crochet, a chain 1, and now I'll join to the 3rd chain of my starting chain. That would be the top of the double crochet. I can tighten up my starting ring. I should have 4 chain 4 corners and 4 sides. So just like the other squares, I'm going to do a chain 4 and place a stitch marker. So just like all of the other interlocking squares that I'm doing in this series, the corners will all have a chain 4, and every double crochet along the sides will have a chain 1 separating the 2 double crochets. So if I forget to say chain 1, remember that there's always a chain 1 in between the double crochets. That way you'll have room for the other colors double crochet. Okay, so we can set that aside for just a little bit and get our other color. This is our B color. I'm going to start with a slip knot and chain 8. Now, in all of the other squares, you would join this ring, but you can't do it yet on this one because it is, like I said, going to make your head explode a little bit because the corners are not always in the front or the back. So this is going to need to end up in the front, so we need this to be here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tuck this tail in between there. So the side with our stitch marker is on top, right in the middle in between those 2 double crochets. And then this goes behind, then in front, and it's just going to alternate and going around in front, then we'll go behind again. We need to come back up and go in front. and then tuck back down to go behind. You're just alternating all the way around this ring. In the front, behind, and come back in front. And now you can put this back on your hook and you're going to join to your the start of your chain. Because we still need this to be a closed circle, we just couldn't do it yet where we started. So now we can close this ring. A slip stitch. And we can chain 4. Okay, so I'm going to place a stitch marker here just so we can see where we're at. Okay, so kind of straighten this around because that chain 4 should be right in the middle of those 2 double crochet on the top. And it looks like a mess right now, and you might be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this square at all because it's already starting out beastly. But that is honestly the worst part. I'm going to pull this tail down a little bit just so you can see better. Okay, so this is what we've got going on here. This is how it should look to start. Totally funky, right? But I promise you can do it. So we're going to get our B color back on our hook. Now for this round, we're just going to work in the front always. So my first stitch on that side is in the front. And now my corner, I'm going to grab this ring down here. So gray is always going to work into gray, and yellow is always going to work into yellow. I'm going to do a double crochet, chain 4, double crochet in the same spot, chain 1. Now this one's also in the front. It'll be on this side of that yellow. Double crochet, chain 1. And now the next corner, to go on the other side of that yellow, grab the gray ring. We'll do a double crochet, chain 4, and double crochet, and chain 1. Now another double crochet, and chain 1. The next corner, on the other side of this yellow bar, grab the gray ring, double crochet, chain 4, and double crochet, chain 1, another double crochet, chain 1. Now the last corner on the other side of this yellow stitch, grab the gray ring, chain 4, another double crochet, chain 1, and now we're going to join to the third stitch of our starting chain. So this is our double crochet, our chain 1, and this would be the third stitch, or the top of what would be the double crochet. Now we'll chain 4 and place a stitch marker. Alright, so that is the end of row 1B. My yarn is all tangled again. I'm having problems today. Okay. So now we're going to need to get our A color back on our hook. So this is row 2B. We started in the back because when we did row 1A, we put the tail behind for B. So our first stitch is already done by this chain. So we started in the back. And now we're going to do a back corner. So in the yellow loop, we'll do a double crochet, chain 4, double crochet, chain 1. Okay. So we just did this corner, and our next stitch is going to be from the front. So we need to pull this. We're going to end up working into this double crochet right here, but we need to go between these 2 white double crochets first. And then chain 1. Now the next one is from the back. It's easy, you can just push the gray aside and get to that stitch in the back. Chain 1. Now the corner from the back again. Double crochet, chain 4, double crochet, chain 1. The next stitch is from the front. So you have to kind of pull that through. So we're working to the top of the yellow. I'm not actually working to the gray, but I had to reach between those gray stitches to reach the stitch. And chain 1. Next stitch is from the back. Chain 1. And the next corner, I'll do a double crochet, chain 4, double crochet, chain 1. Now the next stitch again is from the front. We'll need to work into this double crochet, but we need to go between these two gray stitches into the yellow stitch and finish our double crochet. Chain 1, the next stitch from the back. And chain 1. And our last corner for this row. Chain our double crochet, chain 4, double crochet, chain 1, and we'll finish it off with a front stitch. Between the grays, grab the yellow, and double crochet. Now, the bee color up until the very last row is always going to start in front, so we can put the bee color in front. And we can join to the top of our starting chain. So again, here's the top of our double crochet, our chain 1, that would be the top of our starting double crochet. And chain 4. Place a stitch marker. So this design actually is a repeating pattern. Every, I think, 3 rows it repeats, but it feels really funky at first. So here we are at the end of row 2A, and now we need to get our bee color back on our hook for row 2B. We again want our B color to be, or our A color to be in back, because it will need to be in the back for row 3A. So for row 2B, we start with a front stitch, then we're going to do a back stitch. So we reach from behind that yellow bar to grab our gray stitch and do a double crochet, chain 1. And now we've got a weird corner. So our corner is actually going to be a front and then a back. So it's not going to be the same for both parts of the corner. So we'll start with a front stitch. We'll go around the gray bar from the front, then chain 4. But now we're going to do a back stitch. So we're going to double crochet behind the yellow bar, around the gray chain, and double crochet and chain 1. So that is our weird corner for row 2B. It is super funky, it'll take some getting used to, and it might make your head want to explode, but I know you can do it. Now along the side for row 2B we're going to do front, front, back. So we'll do a front stitch, chain 1, another front, chain 1, and then a back. So we reach behind, grab our gray stitch, and do a double crochet, chain 1, and now it's going to be the same thing for the rest of the sides. This corner is going to be a front then back. So we'll do a double crochet, chain 4, and then a back double crochet to finish the corner. Chain 1. And now we'll do front, front, back. And I'm going to stop saying chain 1 in between each stitch because I'm trusting that at this point you know that it's always a double crochet and then a chain 1. So we'll do front, here's our second front, and a back. And now our corner, again a front then back, front, chain 4, then back, chain 1. Now for the side we've got front, front, back, and now another corner. We'll do front, chain 4, and back, chain 1. Now we'll finish off this first row with a front double crochet, chain 1, and we'll join to our starting chain. Chain 4, and place a stitch marker. Okay, if you've gotten this far, you've made it through the hardest part. You've gotten through row 2B, you've gotten through those funky corners, the weird setup, and your pattern is going to start to emerge here. So let's go on to row 3A. Row 3A is actually easy peasy. It's going to be back stitches all the way around. So we started in the back here. We'll do another back double crochet in the next stitch. Now it can be kind of tricky to find these yellow stitches, so take your time. You're always working to the top of the double crochet on the row below. And then chain 1. And now I'll do a back corner. So that's a double crochet, chain 4, and double crochet. Now make sure you're grabbing your yellow corner from the row before between the 2 corner stitches of gray. So don't grab it like over here after that second corner stitch. You want to grab it in between the 2 corner stitches of gray. Okay, then chain 1, and we're just going to do back stitches all along this side. These are all double crochet and then chain 1. And then a back corner. And then a back double crochet. Chain 1. We'll do back stitches all the way along this side. It's nice to have a nice easy row after all that weird setup. Okay, and we'll join to our starting chain. Remember our B color is in front, chain 4, and place a stitch marker. So that was row 3A, and now row 3B. For row 4A, you're going to need the A color to be in front, so we'll have to start with that in front when we do this round. So we'll put A in front. We'll get B color on our hook. So we started in front, we're going to do a front and then a back. So here's another front, double crochet, chain 1, then we'll do a back, double crochet, chain 1. Now we're going to do a front corner, double crochet, chain 4, double crochet, chain 1. So we've got front, back, front, front, back. Front, back, front, front, back, and then a front corner. Again, front, oops, back, front, front, back, and front corner. I think that the hard thing about this square is that it just feels so random for the longest time. Like it doesn't feel like there's any rhyme or reason for why I'm doing what I'm doing, but it works out. Okay, front, back, front, front, back, and front corner. Chain 1. We'll end this row with a front, and then a back, and then we'll join to our starting chain. Chain 4, and place a stitch marker. Okay, so now you're done with row 3. Alright, row 4A is another kind of weird one. So we started in front here. We'll get our color A back on our hook. So we'll do 2 back stitches next. There's 1 back stitch and 2 back stitches. And now we've got another split corner. So this is going to be a front and then a back. So we'll go from the front, grab our yellow chain, double crochet, chain 4, oops. We started in the front, then we did 2 backs, and then our split corner. So we did a front, now we're doing a chain 4. And our other stitch for our corner will be from the back, so we'll go through the gray bar, grab the yellow, chain, and do it from the back. Okay. Now we're going to do along the side, front, back, back, front, back, back. So our first stitch is from the front, through these 2 yellow stitches. Sorry, through the 2 gray stitches to grab the yellow. So that's front. Now we need back. and back. Now again, front, back, back. And now again we have our split corner, so we'll do front and then back for the corner. Chain 4, and now our back, we'll go through the gray, grab the yellow, again front through those 2 gray stitches to grab our yellow double crochet, and double crochet, chain 1, and then 2 back stitches. And we've got front, back, back, and our split corner. So we'll start with the front, chain 4, and the back. Now again, front, back, back, front, back, back along the side. Now there's split corner from the front, chain 4, and from the back, chain 1. Now we finish off this side. Our B color is going to need to be in front, so we'll keep that in front. We need to do another front, back, back. Front, back, back, and now we can join to our starting chain. Chain 4, and place a stitch marker. Now we'll get our B color back on our hook. This B row is easy peasy. It's just going to be fronts all the way around. We do need our A color to start in the back for the next A row, so we'll put that behind. So we are already in the front. We'll do a front stitch. And I feel like after this row is where the pattern kind of starts to come out a little more, as we get this solid gray row around here. Now this front corner, remember we're going to go in between these 2 yellow corner stitches, so I'm not going to grab the chain here. I'm going to grab the chain here so that our corner ends up in the right place. I'm just working front stitches all the way around, including front corners. One thing I always wish is that I could start on the longer rows and end on the short rows so that it would get faster as I go. It's always kind of depressing by the time I get to the end of the square, and row 9 just takes so long to do. I start to feel it here around or row 4 or 5. I'm like, okay, it's getting longer. It's taking a while to get around each section. Okay, so that's the end of row 4B. Okay, row 5A, we'll get A back on our hook. Now we're starting in the back here, and now we'll do a back, front, back to finish this first side. And our corner is also going to be from the back. Oops. Okay, now along each side we're going to do front, back, back, front, back, back, front, back. So the first front here, we have to reach between these two gray to grab our stitch. So we're doing front, back, back, front, back, back, front, back, and then we'll do another back corner. Okay, so now we're going to do front, back, back. Front, two backs, and front, and two backs, and a back corner. My husband says this is his favorite square so far. After this one, we'll be halfway done. And so I'm making this blanket for my husband. I'm making 2 of each square, so it's going to have 24 squares. If I have extra yarn, I might make a few more to make it a little bit bigger, but I think it'll be a pretty good little throw blanket size with 24 squares. So now along this side, I'm doing front, back, back again. and then end it with a front back and then back corner. Now we're back to our starting round. We're going to go front, back, back. Our starting side, rather. Front, back, back, and a front. And then we can join to our starting chain. Make sure your B color is in front. Chain 4. And now we'll get blur on our hook. So our first stitch here was already in the front. Now we'll do a back. Two fronts. A back. And now this row, again, we're going to have our split corners. So we'll do front then back. Every corner on this round, if it's a split corner, is a front then back. You're never going to do back then front. So front, chain 4, and then back. We'll reach behind the gold chain, grab the gray. Now we'll do front, front, back, front, front, back, front, front, back. So front, front, back, front, front, back, front, front, back, and our split corner, front, chain 4, then back, and chain 1. Now, again, we're just going to do the same thing, front, front, back, across the side, front, front, back, front, front, back, front, front, back, and our split corner, do front, chain 4, and back, chain 1, again along the side, front, front, back, repeating. So we got front, front, oops, back, I almost did another front, 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 back, front, front, back. And now our split corner, if I can untangle my yarn. Split corner, we're going to start with the front, and chain 4, and back. Now we need to finish off this row. We'll just go in pattern still, front, front, back. And we'll end it with one more front stitch and join to our starting chain. Chain 4, place our stitch marker, and that is the end of row 5B. Row 6A is another super easy row, so it's just going to be back stitches all the way around for row 6A. So we'll get A on our hook, and we will just work back stitches all the way around row 6A. Alright, so now we need a row 6B. Our A color is going to need to be in the front for the next row, so we'll put that in front. And get our B color back on our hook. So if you've got the chart, this is row 6B. Again, the chart is available on the website. The links are in the bio, the description. Okay, so we started in the front. We'll do one more front. And then a back. Two fronts. A back. And then a front corner. Now along the side we're going to do front, back, then front, front, back, front, front, back, all across. So front, back, front, front, back, front, front, back, front, front, back, front, corner. And again, we'll start with front, back. And now front, front, back, repeating across. Front, front, back. Oops. Front, front, back, front, front, back, front corner. We'll start this next row with front then back. Now front, front, back, repeating across. Front, front, back, front, front, back, front, front, back, and a front corner. Okay, finish off our starting row, starting side with front, back, front, front, back, and then join to our starting chain, maybe. Chain 4, and place the stitch marker. Okay, that's the end of row 6B, so we're about 2/3 of the way through. All right, row 7A, we'll get our A color back on our hook. Start in the front, so now we'll do 2 backs. We'll do front, back, back. And now our corner is going to be another split corner, so it's going to be a front back corner. So we'll start with the front, chain 4, and a back. Now we're just going to repeat across this whole side, front, back, back, front, back, back. And then our split corner again, front, chain 4, and then a back. Oops, lost my yarn. And now again, along this side, we're just going to repeat front, back, back, all the way across. Another split corner, so we'll do front, chain 4, and then back. Now we'll repeat front, back, back, all the way across. Front, back, back, front, back, back, front, back, back, front, back, back, and our split corner, do front, chain 4, and back. Now we're back to our starting side. Finish it off with front, back, back, twice. And we'll join to our starting chain. Chain 4. And place a stitch marker. And that's the end of round 7A. So now we'll get our B color back on our hook. Our A color is going to need to be in the back for the next round. So we'll put our A color behind and get B on our hook. Alright, row 7B is another super easy one because we're just working in the front all the way around. So we start in the front here. We're going to do front stitches and a front corner. So I'm actually going to stop filming for the rest of this row because it is all in the front. But before I do that, I'm just going to give you a reminder that when you get to this split corner, make sure you go and pick up the chain here after this yellow double crochet, so that your corner is in the right place. So I will be back at the end of row 7B, ready to go on to 8A. We're almost done, kind of. Okay, so now we need to get row 8A. We'll get a yarn back on our hook. So our first stitch here is a back stitch. We'll do another back and then a front. And then we'll do back, back, front. Sorry, not back, back, front, just back, back. Oh, so yeah, I'm right the first time. Back, back, front. And then another back. And a back corner. Now we'll do front, back, back all the way across. This first one will be front. Then two backs. Front. And two backs. Again. And two backs. Front. Two backs. Front, back, and a back corner. And now we'll go in that same pattern again, front, back, back, all the way across the side. At the end of this row, we'll have a front, a back, and then a back corner. And now again, front, back, back, all the way across, starting with the front. And a back. Another back. And then a front. One thing I like about this pattern is that the corners aren't as noticeable on the finished product because of the split corners. So it kind of makes it look more uniform, which is a little bit different. You can still tell where the corners are, of course, but It is less obvious than the others, which is kind of cool. So at the end of the row, a front back, and then the back corner here. End of the side, sorry. I keep saying end of the row when I mean end of the side. Now, front. Two backs. Front. Two backs. And a front to finish off this row. Need our B color in front, and we'll join to our starting chain. And chain 4, and place a stitch marker. And we'll get our B color on our hook. Okay, this row is kind of the last row that you really have to pay close attention to, so that's kind of nice. So, for row 9B, we're in the front. We want our B color, sorry, our A color to start in the back for the next round. So we're going to do a back stitch next. Then 2 fronts. A back. 2 fronts. Back, and then once more we've got a split corner, so we'll do front, chain 4, and then a back, which under the gold, grab the gray, and now working across this side, we'll do front, back, back all the way across. So we'll start here with a front. I'm sorry, I said front, back, back. I meant front, front, back. So front, front, back, front, front, back, front, back, front, front, back, front, front, back. And now a split corner. So we've got a front, chain 4, and then a back in that same corner chain. And now we'll go on with that pattern, front, front, back, all the way across. Front, front, our split corner, do front, chain 4, and then back. Now along this side we'll do front, front, back, repeating. Alright, our last corner for this round, another split corner, front, chain 4, and back. Now front, front, back. Our last stitch on this round will be a front. We'll join to our starting chain. And this time we're only going to chain 3 instead of 4 because this will be our last row next. And place a stitch marker. And then we need to get our A color back on our hook. For row 9A, every stitch is going to be worked in the back. The only thing to be aware of is this time your B color needs to be in the back at the end of the row. So you're just going to work back stitches all the way around with your A color. And again, I think I'm going to stop filming while I do this, just so you don't have to watch me do a whole bunch of back stitches. Just make sure you're aware, again, on the corners, because you have the split corner, make sure you pick up the red chain after that first gray post of the corner. So you want your corner to be right in there. Okay, I will come back when we're on 9B for the last row. Off my yellow yarn, my A color, after row 9A, because we are done with that, and now I'm going to get our B color back on our hook. Now this row is actually also fairly straightforward. All of the stitches are going to be in the back. However, since this is our last row, we're going to join the 2 colors together. So we only chained 3, so it's just the height of a regular double crochet. Now instead of those chain stitches, we're going to work the extra chains in between the double crochet. We're going to work back loop only single crochet in the double crochet of the other color. So I'm going to work a back double crochet in my B color, then a back loop single crochet in my A color. I'm going to do this all the way around. Back double crochet, back loop only single crochet, back double crochet, back loop single crochet. And the reason we do back loop instead of through both loops is because we want that nice ridge to show. So like on this one, you see the blue continuous. That is because we did back loop only on the single crochets so that we can still see our A color. So back double crochet in my gray, back loop single in my yellow. And I'll show you the corners a little bit different. I'm going to get there in just a second. Oops. Back double crochet. And back loop single crochet. So now I've worked all the way to that last double crochet of my corner. Now to work the corner, I'm going to do a total of 5 stitches. I'll start with a back double crochet around my gray chain. Then I'm going to, in the second chain of my yellow corner, work a back loop single crochet. Now we'll do another back double crochet in the gray. Now skip 1 chain, and in the 4th chain of the corner, do another back loop single crochet in the yellow. And 1 more back double crochet around the gray turn chain, corner chain. And that is the end of our corner. So there's 5 stitches around the corner. And now we'll continue on. So we just did a back double crochet. We'll do a back loop single crochet. Now back double crochet. And we're going to continue in this pattern all the way across, alternating a back loop single crochet with a back double crochet. Usually like to end with an invisible join, so I pull this out, and if I didn't do my starting chain too tightly, which I might have, you can get under both loops of the top of your turn chain. Alright, and then pull your yarn through both loops of the turn chain, and then up through one of the loops of your last stitch and pull back down. And then once I weave that in, it'll look just like a chain along the edge. So that is the end of the June interlocking square. So you can see, you can still see where the corners are, but the pattern kind of blends in. If you look on the chart, you actually don't have anything different where the corners are, so it's just continuous across. Just the nature of the crochet, you're going to see the corners a little bit because of the chain 4 in there, but that's okay. So this is the June square. That's the front. Here's the back. Of course, I have to weave in my ends still. It's kind of cool, kind of crazy, totally different. I'm trying to get bunch of different designs, a little bit something for everybody. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There's a link to sign up for the email list in the description, and I pretty regularly send out coupon codes whenever I publish a new design, so it's worth it to sign up. And that's it. Happy crocheting!